Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Out of Our League. I have no other hosts today, so we're just going to go straight into the guests. Hi, Courtney and Jon. How are
Hi.
you guys? Is it pronounced talk or like TVLK or?
Yeah, no, it is. It is talk. It's Talk Limited. When I filed for the LLC, in my infinite wisdom, I didn't stop to think that maybe the word talk, like the actual word talk, was probably taken in everything, right? So I figured, why don't we just flip the A upside down? We'll make it TVLK, and we'll still pronounce it talk. So yeah, it's Talk Limited.
I kind of like it because it turns into a little bit of a double entendre, which works for some of your other content, which is pretty great. But how are you guys today?
Doing good, man. No complaints here. How are you doing?
Pretty awesome.
Doing well. Yeah, it's been quite the day. It's been very interesting. We had Isaiah of Kotaku on earlier, which was a lot of fun, which is going to be kind of weird because I'm saying that even though his episode will probably go up next week and then yours will go up the week after that. So people are like, what?
Time magic.
Yeah, recording time magic. Exactly. That's one of the nice things about recording off air, not live, is, it can just kind of be whatever time you want it to be. I don't know what movies are releasing 2 weeks from now, but we could totally just say those are out and they're all really bad and everyone would just know.
Yeah, they all went straight to the $5 bin, so go check them out.
Exactly. So tell me a little bit for the people that don't know about your show or your, I guess, more company, your network, so to speak, of different properties.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of us, I think, have very similar visions, but we probably have different descriptors on how we like to talk about Talk Limited because we both come from different inspirations and different backgrounds. I was very heavily inspired by, which isn't going to be a surprise for a lot of people, is kind of funny. Because you call this the Out of the League podcast, but honestly, I feel like you guys are out of my league because you've interviewed everybody I've wanted. You've done it, man. Like, you've done it. I love interviewing people. You've interviewed the best out there, right? You've had Greg Miller on the show. You've had fantastic guests already. So you guys are doing far leaps and beyond the things that I want to do.
Trust me, it's just a lot of emails, a lot of rejection, a lot of, hey, I'm busy right now, email me again, in 6 months, and then emailing again and emailing. That's all it is. That's literally all it is.
That's what I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna put that in my pocket and I'm gonna run with that. But I'll tell you, man, like, I got very inspired by that because just like a lot of people, I think Kind of Funny got me through some of the hardest times of just being a part of it. I would watch live when I was able to. I learned from it as a podcast. I'd listen to it on my commutes while I was working, and I really like what they were doing. And I've always wanted to do something similar. And I always wanted to just have that opportunity to bring people on with passions and interview them and let them talk about it and that sort of thing. And then I kind of thought of the idea, well, what if we had other shows? And what if we utilized Twitch? And what if we did it this way? What if we did it that way? And, I met Courtney through Twitch, or technically she met me. I was using Twitch the standard way, where I was playing video games and I was talking to my chat. And Courtney came in, had no idea who she was, and she commandeered chat, and she said, hey, I'm bouncing around meeting new people, do you want to learn some Hawaiian? Because for those who don't know, Courtney is Hawaiian. So I was like, this is perfect in my head. I'm like, this is content. My chat is dead. This is a godsend. I'm gonna be able to keep a conversation going. Everything is gonna be great from here on out. People are gonna come in and see how funny I am. But what really helped out though was that Courtney reached out to me after that. I was playing Donkey Kong Country, I think, or something.
Something of that nature,
and so she reaches out and she goes, I'm really sorry if I commandeered your show or whatever it was. And I was like, no, this is great. Like, that helped me a lot. It gave me something to talk about, Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself, and I'm not very good at doing that. And then, things unfolded, and we talked about what we wanted to do. I mentioned that I wanted to do interviews. Courtney has a background in that sort of stuff when it comes to, what we'll probably learn today more about her sports photography, entertainment photography. She knows interviewers on her island. So she's already familiar with it. And, speaking to her about it and my passions and my goals, I think it really resonated with the things that she was very interested in. So we partnered up together and we just kind of wanted to see what kind of shows we can put together. And we saw your tweet. So those people who follow you will already know that one of our shows is a sex positive podcast.
Yes.
That is our brand. If you catch us live on Twitch, we have sexual overtones.
Yes.
I said undertones, and somebody said, no, you guys have sexual overtones. And I said, okay, well, that's because of Courtney. Yeah, go ahead.
Just to interject for a moment, I, as you were mentioning earlier, I'm also a really big Kind of Funny fan, and obviously that was kind of how all of this got started. Is one of us emailed Tim, and Tim was down to do an interview after we did our main kind of, I guess, not viral video, because it wasn't viral outside of the Kind of Funny community, but it was a video that we made called The Last Chance instead of The Last Dance.
The Last Dance, you parody, yeah.
Yeah, of Nick Scarpino. And we did that, and that kind of garnered us enough rep, I guess, to or not rep, but confidence to approach Tim about getting an interview and being like, hey, we want to start this new show and we want to know if you would like to be a guest on it. And it's just kind of gone from there. But never in a million years did I think we'd ever get some of the people we've had on the show.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But anyway, my point of kind of explaining that, it doesn't matter. It's more about the older show. Oh my God, I just forgot the name of it. Kind of Funny. It's the Sex, Love, and stuff, or whatever they.
Yeah, Sex, Love, and Stuff. They would have it, I think, every once in a while.
Yeah, and that was the show that I was always reminded of when I would see you guys doing Let's Talk and stuff like that. And I was like, and then it's something that I missed because you don't see a lot of that, you don't see a lot of that type of content out there that's both informative, respectful, and just outwardly positive about sexual identity. And so I was really cool to see someone out there doing that outside of, Kind of Funny not doing it anymore, really. And that's kind of was my introduction to you.
Nice.
And I think technically it was when Greg had his whole thing about filling in shows to bump Gino Viteri. And you DM'd us on the Simply Sassy account, and we're like, hey, if you want to bump Gino with somebody, I'm down.
That is right. I did say because there was a whole bit going on.
Yeah, we ended up getting Xavier Woods out of it, which was insane. But that was my first introduction, and of course then I started watching the content, and Let's Talk was the first kind of show that I watched, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is something that I've been missing out of that whole section of Kind of Funny that just kind of dissipated over time, and the way things had to change through the pandemic and everything like that. So it was really cool to see.
Thank you for watching. That's we always joke about that. That's actually our flagship show.
Yeah, it's not a joke.
It's what literally started us because, like Jon said, I found him on Twitch playing video games, and my approach to Twitch was I only got into Twitch because I do Extra Life every year. And because of the pandemic, I didn't get to actually fly and be with the team to fundraise and participate. So we all decided that we would try to, boost our own Twitch channels and go from there. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go and network the way I can and try to see what Twitch is about and go ahead and meet some people. And I stumbled into Jon's stream and met him, and we vibed a lot. And for me, I have, a little bit of PR and marketing background with what I do. And he was very passionate about all of these things he envisioned doing for himself. And that spoke to me. So I wanted to really get into it. So I started helping him with doing more interview shows, helping him brand more. And we kept working together and collaborating. And, he interviewed me on his show. I helped try to bring in some other people for his interviews. And then we decided to collaborate and actually play video games together. And Let's Talk was born because we were playing Red Dead Redemption 2,
Mm-hmm.
and it was late night. Some alcohol was involved. Jon got drunk. Let's just put that right out there. Jon got drunk.
Yeah.
And we discovered very quickly that we are both very horny on main and horny on constant.
Can you say that?
Can we say that on here? Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Fuck yeah. Perfect.
Well, Courtney has no filter, so I don't know if you want this in the gutter. We'll take it to the gutter real fast.
I live there.
I'll just say I'll call this episode From the Gutter to Let's Talk. You know.
There you go.
Perfect. Fantastic. Yes.
And back to the gutter.
Yes, we're that's where we are. That is where we habitate. And so we started. Jon was drunk, so the everything just started happening. We just started talking, and the horny chat came alive in our stream.
In our chat. So thank you so much to the community who's followed us. Yes. They're the ones who really brought it out. Every innuendo that Courtney threw at me, they did not let slide. No, because Courtney's really good with the innuendos. And so it just turned into very much, instead of innuendos, it came very much into the forefront. Yeah. Over endos. Yeah.
Out endos.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was just
we came up with a show out of it. We understood because Courtney and I, if anything, we're also best friends at this point, and we are very open and honest with every conversation that we have with each other. And one thing that we understand is each other's sexuality. So when it came down to it and we said, well, what kind of show do you think would be best for us to talk about? And it's like, well, probably sex positivity, because it's one of those things where we have no problem talking about. Yes, we can joke about it, but we don't think that the punchline should be haha sex. It should sex shouldn't necessarily need to be a punchline. You should definitely have fun. It should should definitely be exciting, but it doesn't need to be a taboo punchline where the joke is, oh, this guy enjoys sex, so that's funny, or whatever it is. So we brought that very much into the forefront. It is our flagship show. We do it every Friday on twitch.tv/talk LTD. And it's our late night show. So we do it 8 p.m. Pacific, which is 11 p.m. Eastern. And it's really the one where we get more and more people.
5 p.m. for you.
Hawaiian. Thank you. I'm so glad you included my Hawaiian time zone. You know how frustrating it is that everybody that is within our community, everyone is everywhere. And for me, I have to do the math, which I can't. I'm all kinds of Asian and I can't math for anything. And it's frustrating because then everyone's like, oh yeah, we're on at this time. And I'm like,
well, technically Hawaii doesn't have daylight savings time. So it's 6 p.m. Hawaiian time.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
wow.
Either way, I'm always last for everything. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so late here," and I'm like, "The sun's still bright out."
I actually didn't know about the daylight savings time thing. That's a good note. I didn't know that. When I approached Jon about doing the show, I actually asked if both of you were in Hawaii, because I knew you were in Hawaii. Because I was following your Las Vegas trip.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then you mentioned that you were back in Hawaii. So in my brain, it was just like, oh, you're both in Hawaii.
Yeah, no, it's an easy mistake. I mean, everybody asks if we're both in California from time to time too. So, no, yeah, we do all of our broadcasts. We do them remote. So we depend on Discord a lot, and
everybody's always surprised that we're not in the same place. They always assume that we're like working together in the same room or in separate rooms of the same house. It's like, no, we're literally nowhere near each other.
Yeah, and that's actually how I decided kind of on the time for the show. Was I wanted to make sure it wasn't like too early for you.
Thank you.
Because normally we do it at 1 p.m., which isn't super crazy. It's not a huge difference, but when you think about 4-hour difference, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's a little
Thank
bit
you for being considerate. I'm glad somebody is considerate of my time zone when we do shows.
I don't know what you're talking about. What's wrong with waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning to play Animal Crossing? I don't see the problem.
I think part of it's just because we deal with time zones so much. Because we have done interviews with people, and a lot of our team is from one of our team is from New Zealand.
Wow.
Two of them are actually from New Zealand. and then we've got a couple people from Europe, and then we have someone from Bahrain.
Wow.
So coordinating time zones for interviews is kind of our thing.
Mhm.
You guys have got it down to a science.
We try. But anyway, so that's why we ended up doing it at this time, was just try and give you a little bit more time to sleep in.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Even though,
I
even
don't
though
know
I
what that
saw
is.
you join this, yeah, exactly. I saw you join the server at like really early this morning for your time, and I'm like, okay.
So yeah.
I was gonna say Courtney works on my time, so
Mhm.
that is one thing that I'm very, very grateful for, is that if I'm awake at 6 o'clock, well, okay, let's give myself a little bit. If I'm awake at 7 o'clock in the morning, I know that Courtney's awake, and for her it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So um, I am grateful for that, but I know that the reason why she shifted her time zone is because we're both working towards the same passion project. So it's not one of those things where she sacrifices the rest of her day, but instead she just shifted her day backwards, and I'm grateful for that, because I rely on Courtney for everything. She does all of our flyers before our going live posts, our to the point where I was getting a lot of our guests in the beginning, but then I depended on Courtney for a lot of that stuff too. She uploads to Hover. Shout out to Hover.
Wait, sorry.
They're gonna
Continue before we get into that. We can go back to Hover in a minute.
And basically every social media presence except for the tweets that you see from time to time on the Talk Limited, the Let's Talk, the Talk Plays, and my personal Twitter. Everything else is mostly Courtney, but we share the Talk Limited and the Let's Talk account. We kind of blur those lines, so you never really know who's posting from there.
Yep, you never know. That's the beauty of it. Before you could tell because we had two separate kinds of phones, so it would give us away.
What is it with Twitter telling everybody what kind of device I'm using?
From Android, from iPhone. So that was kind of the dead giveaway. But now we both have iPhones, so now you can never tell who's tweeting what.
Yeah.
That's
until
funny.
I go back to Android, because fuck Apple, you know what I mean?
And there goes our Apple sponsorship.
Yeah, I'm sure they were really hoping to sponsor us.
You never know. You never know.
You can cut that out. I don't know. Maybe you were talking to Apple on the back end. I don't know.
We have no allegiances when it comes to sponsorships. So what you guys say, we can just deny that we have any affiliation with that statement.
Perfect. So we're just ruining our own sponsorships. That's fine.
Yep, exactly.
That's fine, because boy, do I hate Apple. All right, anyway, no, okay.
He hates Apple. I do not. So Apple, fuck him. You can sponsor me.
Well, I'm going to shamelessly plug Hover, if you don't mind. I'm sure they'll appreciate this. If you guys watching are streamers, check out Hover, hover.gg. It's an app. You can find it in the App Store. We've interviewed the creators of Hover. Well, actually, no, we haven't interviewed them, but we've had them on our show, because we do a game show, a trivia game show every other Tuesday on our channel as well. We bring on a bunch of panelists as well as contestants. By the way, we want to get a Simply Sassy on that show.
Yes,
I know that time zones are a bitch, but I think it'd be great to have all of you on, and you all know your personalities well. So I would really like for you guys to choose who the contestants would be and who the panelists would be. And what's great is that the panelists get to troll the hell out of the contestants. So you choose, and I hope that maybe we can work this out. But yeah, we Hover hosts like next top streamer competitions for cash, but they do an app which basically it's TikTok but for streamers. So the way that somebody, not the creators of Hover, but the way somebody in our chat described it is, if TikTok and Twitch fucked and had a baby, this would be it.
Hover,
so it's just to increase your discoverability, because Twitch doesn't do a very good job of that.
Yeah, so I did a quick Google search, and I found at share on Hover, and it says clip to stream, built to help solve Twitch's discoverability problem. Download the beta, get discovered, grow your audience, compete for cash.
Yeah. So. And look, and I'm not here to shill for Hover. I do like the guys; they are great. But obviously, we want as much free publicity as we can get. So if your audience decides to download Hover, use TVLK 21. All right, that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Use that code. Use that
code. All right.
Just help us get some gravity. We're trying to fly out here, okay?
Yeah, we don't know what the gravity does, but we want it. You get points on the app called Gravity. And I really want it.
if you're hovering, don't you want anti-gravity though?
Oh.
You're right. Well, the more gravity you have, the more I don't know. I can't. There's nothing
he can't science, okay?
No.
That's too much.
That's
Anyway,
funny.
yeah.
Um, that's awesome. That's really cool. So I mean, from there, what inspired you guys to make it into this network of shows? Like,
Mm.
why you could have like so for us, you know, we've tried to branch out to different shows and things, and we're definitely working on some stuff in the background, but out of our league is really well that and like the not KFAF Photoshop challenge that we
Yeah.
did because
Mhm.
kind of funny stopped doing the Photoshop challenge and we were sad. Um, that
Yeah.
other than that and this show we really haven't had anything kind of stick. So like as far as what other shows you guys have, what inspired them, what inspires
Mhm.
you to keep them going, and what do you do to kind of combat like burnout or those days that you just don't want to record on your schedule?
Mhm.
Well, for us, we have day jobs, right? We have day jobs, we have daily life stuff, and the content creation and Talk Limited in our shows is literally what fuels us and inspires us to keep going.
Mhm.
And for us, you know, we yes, it's in a sense it's a kind of a job because we do have an LLC, we do have a company together with it. But for us, it's all passion, so we don't really see it
Mhm.
as work. So for us, we don't really get we get burnout from everything else. We do
Yeah.
not ever get we don't get burnout from Talk Limited. And we're constantly like texting. We have ideas so often throughout the day.
Mhm.
It's we have a whole laundry list of other shows that we haven't even created yet that
Mhm.
we because we get all of these ideas and we're constantly inspired. We love collaborating and working with people that
Yeah.
sometimes we'll go into a stream or we'll meet somebody new and that will inspire a show.
Mhm.
Or we'll be talking about something and then that will inspire a show. And that's kind of how it's always been. Like we started with Let's Talk because of what happened in chat while we were doing one thing together.
Mhm.
And we elaborated on that because of our open-mindedness and the fact that we are unafraid of being ourselves when it comes to sexuality, when it comes to any kind of discussion with that. And
Mhm.
then we discovered too that you know we enjoyed you know our community enjoys video games, and so that's where the Talk Gaming came from with the
Mhm.
video news, the gaming news roundup show. We had another show that the trivia game show that came up as a discussion because we wanted to see, you know, our other content creators or other friends compete against each other. And we just like the old school gaming shows that we kind of it just evolved from there.
Mhm.
And same thing with the interview shows. John is very inspired by, you know, Kind of Funny, and he's inspired by the Game Grumps. And so for him,
Mhm.
a lot of that resonated, and that's why we kept with the interview show. And it's just one of those things. Now we have another show called Talk Circuit where it's where we have an open table discussion with other content creators because we you know we understand how difficult it is to either get started or how you know what pitfalls happen with content creators that we want to have those open discussions. So for
Mhm.
us, we're constantly coming up with different ideas because of how passionate we are with content creation as a whole. So that's
Mhm.
kind of what it is, where we're constantly trying to stay ahead of things. And because we have a company, we're not bogged down by any one particular thing. We're able to be as fluid with our ideas. And that's kind of why with us we want Talk Limited to be a network of just anything and everything.
Mhm. You know, the to answer the question about burnout, I don't want to stop creating content. And the thing is I want to create more content, right? So, like Courtney said, we have our day jobs, and I think that is the whole reason why we double down on our ideas, is because if we throw enough at the wall, and we think our ideas are good, you know, it's not like we're just pulling some shit out of our hat and saying, well, I don't know, maybe someone will like us yelling, you know, poo poo caca pee pee at the screen, and then, you know, but granted I do that, but that's when I'm angry and Mario Kart is a fucking asshole of a game. But I it's because I don't want to stop making content, and you know, not to you know, bang my own drum or toot my own horn or whatever it is. A lot of these ideas I will throw at Courtney and be like, hey, what do you think of this? And Courtney will say, yeah, let's do it. To, you know, the trivia game show that came about because I really wanted to have a way of bringing a lot of our content creator friends together and just having a good time and seeing, and I was inspired by, old school game shows on the television, right? None of these are completely original ideas, but we're going to put our Talk Limited spin on it. We're going to do it the way we do it. And a lot of that is bringing our personalities to the forefront, right? Our personalities are what we think sells the most. I'm a huge fan of Mountain Dew. Christian is a huge fan of Dr. Pepper, and he's wrong, and that's just the way it is, And if that's going to be the bit, that's going to be the bit. But he's still fucking wrong, and and that's just the way that's how we are in real life, and that's how we are on screen. And he's insufferable. And honestly, if I can replace him, I fucking will.
For context, for those who don't know, Christian is the other co-host for Talk Gaming, the gaming news roundup show. It's Jon and Christian.
Follow Talk Gaming on Twitter and tell him how wrong he is on all of his hot takes. All of his hot takes are just wrong just for the sake of being wrong. And it's like, I don't know how long people are going to tolerate you giving people the news and then giving really bad takes about the shitty games you like and shitting on everybody's good games. He just has really bad takes. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway,
so real quick,
yeah,
just so we get it out of the way. At Sucks and Witch.
Sucks Sandwich. Yep.
Yeah.
Because he sucks.
I broke it up in a weird way in my head.
Sucks Sandwich is Christian. Yeah.
Sucks and Witch. No, Sucks Sandwich. Got it.
I love that. I'm calling him that from now on.
Sucks and Witch. Yeah.
Sucks and Witch.
Says, yes, I have a question.
Oh, God.
When are you going to have the true host of Talk Gaming, me?
Wow.
On the show? On this show?
So I want to apologize to him in the sense that I did not know who he was until this tweet.
You know what? That's fine.
Whenever I've been watching you guys, it's been you two.
Well, that's the most important. It's fine.
Even on the previous stream stuff that I on Twitch, because unfortunately, like I don't have a lot of time to be on Twitch most of the time.
Understandable.
So a lot of what I catch is on either like VODs from the Twitch channel or like YouTube.
Nice.
And I gotta say, I don't even know what Christian looks like.
That's
I'm
probably
sorry,
for
Christian.
the best.
I'm sorry.
Just a regular guy. I don't know. He's indescribable. But that's okay. The point is, we've talked too long about Christian and we should move on.
Oh man!
In case you had no idea what the dynamic is during this gaming news roundup show, that's it right there.
Yeah. I know. He's my IRL friend for like 5 years now, and it's just one of those things where if I'm gonna ridicule him about something, it's gonna be all of his bad hot takes.
So on a serious note, Christian, I want to speak to you directly. I'm going to look at my camera here. I want to let you know that I gave this link to Jon, so he could have given it to you, and he didn't. So not on us. You could have been on the show.
He's probably sleeping. It's fine. Don't worry about this.
He's probably not even going to bother watching because we're on.
I was just trying to keep the allegiance stuff. I didn't want to create any.
My goal, by the way, is to get this video as your highest viewed video. I want you to know that. And and if my luck continues the way I try to get people to ask questions on your tweet, it's not going to be good. But that's neither here nor there.
To be fair, you guys have a pretty good response rating on here in comparison to some. So we're very small. Twitter
are high. Yeah. Retweets and likes are high. But fucking ask a question. I couldn't get a goddamn person to ask a fucking question. But hop in the chat, boy, do they got questions? And I'm just like, why?
To be fair, Kirby Carry On, Kirby CWL says
Kirby's a gem. That's why.
Has the first year been exactly what you pictured? And is there anything you do different? There you go. You got a question.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first, Jon?
I'll go first.
Of course.
Our first year went exactly as we planned. We had no pitfalls and no stumbles. We are the model of what you should do when you're ready. No, we had no fucking idea what we were doing. Absolutely none. We decided that we were going to form an LLC and we weren't going to start streaming until it was cleared because we want to make sure our intellectual property is ours. That's the one piece of advice I can give everybody. And we started with a handful of shows. We dropped quite a few of them. We changed our schedule a few times, but we stuck with it. If there's anything that I probably would do different, and what we are going to do differently, is we're going to provide every show that we do as a podcast. So one thing that we're going to learn to figure out how to do in 2022, starting with episode 1 of 2022, is to figure out, because we're flying by the seat of our pants. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're going to figure out how to get all of our shows audio uploaded to podcast services, all of them, if we can. So if you have any insight on that, I would love to know. Because the internet is very scary and I don't know how to navigate it. And there's a lot of answers out there. I also can't read. There's a lot of answers out there and you don't know which ones are the best answers. Does that make sense? They all claim to be the best answer. And it's like, I feel like I might be getting scammed with if I use this one. And maybe, you know what I mean? But
so just to throw it out there, Anchor has probably been the best experience that I've had putting shows on podcast services.
I think it's because of you guys. I downloaded Anchor this morning because I think you advertised your podcast through Anchor.
Yeah, every time we put up a new episode, I put the Anchor link up there because it has like when you click it, it has links to just about everything else. The three things we had to sign up for were through Anchor, were Apple, Amazon, and Spotify, I think.
Okay.
Right. Although Spotify might be linked now, but all of those were everything else that it was on. You know, it was pretty natural. Mm-hmm. And Apple is because Apple's weird, and you have to have your own Apple account to put podcasts up on there. And then once you get that built, then you just throw the RSS feed from Anchor into there, and then it just auto populates into Apple. So you can just upload to Anchor, and you don't have to worry about the Apple part of it anymore.
I like that.
And same thing for Amazon. You got to do your Amazon login, and then throw the RSS feed in there from Anchor, and then it just does it. We were doing for what I did before Simply Sassy. We were doing Spotify, and Spotify only lets you upload like a certain length of show or audio, and so they wanted you to sign up for like or did I say Spotify? I meant SoundCloud.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. I don't know why I said Spotify. So they wanted you to sign up for like SoundCloud Premium, and it was like $15 a month, which isn't horrible, but in comparison to Anchor, where I feel like a lot of their money comes from making ad kind of relationships happen. They don't seem, or at least they haven't charged us anything for uploading. I don't even 40, or well, I guess right now we're at about 20 episodes on the podcast services uploaded. But yeah, so I think that's probably the best way to go if you're trying to get on podcast services for sure.
That sounds like an option.
Duly noted.
And I don't know how professional you are with this, but I'm curious because we have different shows. Would it make sense to have different podcasts for different shows? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. That's something that we will probably be doing in the near future, is any new show that you do, if it's not technically part of the same stream, most people are there for whatever the specific podcast
show is. Got it.
So yeah, you would want to create, like, that's why we kind of did the Simply Sassy Presents out of our league. So we can do Simply Sassy Presents show here. Yeah. I can't say some of the stuff we're working on yet, just because we don't want the names to be stolen. Obviously not by you wonderful people, but we'll
steal them. We don't care.
13, those 13
we're not recording.
Those 13 listeners we have, we don't want them to steal it.
Thank you all 13 of you for being here.
Yes. Well, 14 because we're here too. Oh, 15 because we're here too.
But we only count as one click. Well, more, because I'm telling you right now, we're gonna get everybody to listen. We're gonna do a listening party, and we're gonna give everybody your link, and they're all gonna click it, and they're all gonna listen to it over and over and over again. Yes. No, but as far as our first year goes, it was a lot of learning curve. We launched our Patreon at the very beginning. We adjusted our Patreon along the way. It's just trial and error. And I think year 2, we're gonna do things the same, but we're gonna do things better, I guess is the best way that you could really say it.
Yeah. I think we're gonna do more too.
We're gonna do more. We're gonna do a lot of IRL activities and stuff, and on location stuff once the world opens back up a little bit more regularly. I mean, luckily, you know, as long as you're vaccinated, you can pretty much go anywhere now. So, we'll see about doing more, because I want to do interviews and stuff, and I just want to do everything. I want to do everything, man. Everything.
Yeah.
If listeners out there, if you need a host, if you need somebody, hit me up. I'll do anything.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've done much more for much less, or whatever the expression is.
Yes.
So, Courtney, before I derailed the conversation with Anchor, we were going to get your side of the first year of content. I saw your face when Jon was joking about being perfect. I saw your face kind of contorting, like going, what? So I want to hear your side of it.
Oh, I was waiting to see how long he was going to continue with that charade, and I was going to let him do his thing. As you folks know, with how our dynamic works, I can't control him. Let him go as far as he possibly can, and then eventually I pull back on the leash if he goes a little too far.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like for the first year, you know, we went into this completely blind. We were collaborating a lot, working together on our separate channels, and you know, finally, right around Christmas, we discussed it. He's like, you know, what if we combined and actually created a channel together? What if we created a business together? And it was a huge risk because, you know, we had just met each other. We'd known each other for less than a year, not even a full year yet.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was a big risk because, you know, we're in 2 separate states. We're separated by thousands of miles, but we both were very passionate about Talk Limited and this idea and content creation and everything that we envisioned for this company that we were going to create together. So we're coming into a year now because in January we'll make a year with Talk Limited. And I think every person we talk to, they always talk about how it's amazing. They see the chemistry that we have and they see how well we work under fire. That's the one comment that I really appreciated with people we've interviewed, that especially we've interviewed someone who I really look up to. His name is Billy V. He is a personality here. He's on the local news station here. He's an MC. He's been on television. He's done cameos for, you know, multiple different CBS shows. And for him, when we interviewed him, we've interviewed him about, 2 or 3 times. And the one thing he always mentions is how good we work together and how good we work under fire and how we created something from nothing, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So over the past year, we've learned a lot. We've adjusted. We pivot. We always, what is the saying that you always say, Jon? Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally, that's the best way to describe Talk Limited is fuck it, we'll do it live. We never shy away from challenges, and if anything, anytime we get faced with any of that, we're always ready to pivot and find what works. And that's what makes us different.
We are different.
We're different. Definitely different.
Well, here's the thing. I find perfection in imperfection, right? Like I was always the person who would watch a show or a movie and try to find the breaks in the fantasy and see behind the curtain. That's how I've always been.
Okay,
and
wait. I don't want to stop you, but I want to stop you real quick. I want to put a pin in your deconstructing movies, and we'll get back to that in a minute. Keep going. I just wanted to throw it out there so we get back to it.
Yeah, well, but the reason why is because when we have a slip up, or when, you know, things aren't going our way, it's just a way to build content on top of it. And I know that there's somebody out there who's going, oh shit, okay, so that's how they did that. Oh, that's what's behind there. Oh, there's always an Easter egg for somebody to find, because I know that because I am the person who's always looking for an Easter egg to find in everything that I watch. So I just go with it, man. And it's like, eventually, you know, you're going to reach out to somebody who's going to enjoy what you're putting out there, no matter how janky it looks. You know, you're seeing, we work with green screens. I have one of my green screens that goes right here. So none of this is ever in view when we stream, you know. And it's like, well, you know, somebody watching this now is gonna be like, oh, well, that's what's behind them, you know. So it's one of those things.
AKA dope shit.
Yeah,
Yes.
a bunch of Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
I'm a really big Turtles fan.
Oh yes,
Great.
he's the
That's
biggest TMNT fan that I've ever encountered in my whole life.
Mhm.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, I think over a year we've come through and done a lot. And has it been everything we thought it would be? No, but in the best possible way, because we didn't know what to expect, right? We we were two complete strangers who met on the internet and built
Yeah.
a brand and a company together and built a friendship in the span of a year. And none of this was ever possibly what we could have imagined. But if anything, I think it's better.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I agree.
It's pretty incredible, definitely. We were in a position where we were like, should we make a Patreon? Should we try and make money out of this or do whatever? And we opted to just kind of like worry about the content and make the content because when we first started, there were 10 of us.
Mhm.
And the idea of trying to figure out how to do all that with money involved just is not a fun concept.
Mm-mm.
So when you take a fraction of that, I think if there were like, maybe even four of us, I feel like maybe we could have went that business route with it.
Mhm.
Um, and really tried to go harder into that for sure.
Mhm.
Um, and
Well,
there's go ahead.
I was to say I'll be transparent with you. Yeah, we have an LLC, but we're not making any profit. And
Sure.
who knows how long that's sustainable for. But everything that comes in through Patreon, it goes right back to our community. Like one of our Patreon tiers is for a T-shirt, and a good half of what we get from that Patreon tier goes into making the T-shirts and shipping them out. The rest goes back into the business and pays for things like a mic that works or whatever it is. We
The
don't
business license itself.
the business license itself, those sort of things, thankfully a trip to Vegas, you know what I mean, where we
Sure.
can
Yeah.
actually film and do content there,
Content. Mhm.
as long as we can claim it as content, and which is entirely what we intended to do. And it's one of those things where, yeah, we would love to eventually be able to hire people, but really we're dependent on people who are passionate about what we're doing too, and it's hard to sell your passion to somebody who is not fully involved. But shout out to Kirby and shout out to Nebby and the people who decided that they want to be a part of it by creating art for us and creating editing our videos for us with no compensation in mind, at least not to start,
Yeah.
because they believe in our vision as well. And it's one of those things where it was mentioned early on that we do a lot of collaborations, and I depend heavily on collaboration. My creative vision requires a lot of collaboration because I can't do Photoshop for shit. I've never
Mhm.
edited anything properly. I just have ideas, and then I want to sit behind a microphone and put those ideas to life. That's
Yes.
basically what I do. I depend on everybody. Everybody I depend on, and if there are people out there who depend on somebody like me who is just a voice, I hope if it's me that I am dependable. Does that make sense? I hope that what I offer it makes sense to the people who want to be able to put 100% of themselves into what I do and what
Mhm.
vision we have and that sort of stuff. So
Well,
Yeah,
I'm going to interrupt because he sold himself a little short. Yes, he cannot do Photoshop to save his life.
no.
Lord knows he cannot. But that's okay because at least thank God I can.
Mhm.
But I will say he does a lot of other stuff. He is very creative. He's very much an idea person, but he's also the producer of our show. You know, I yes, I do a lot of the other behind the scenes stuff. I do a lot of the prep and build up that goes into these shows. But Jon is the one who's sitting there with all the keys. He's sitting there with the mixer. He's sitting there making sure that the actual scene is set. He's the one hitting the go live button. He's the one controlling how the scene looks and switching scenes and switching audio and making sure that all of the guests are in the right spot, making sure the cameras are all in correct areas. And so I will say he is very much a big portion of it. And I know he depends a lot on the rest of us, but we depend on him too, especially for all of our shows. So I just had to put that out there because he doesn't it wouldn't take credit for that. So I wanted to make sure he gets the credit he deserves because he is the producer for Talk Limited. All of our shows is produced by him, put on by him. And he does all of that stuff live. And a lot of times too, he'll set up the scene minutes before we hit go live and make sure that all of that is in place. So that in and of itself is a very important skill that we all depend on, that I depend on, especially for Talk Limited. So I just wanted to make sure that that was put out there.
That's fair. I'll take it.
Now, are you the producer essentially? Are you doing the one that's running Streamlabs and stuff like that in the background?
Yes. So we use OBS and Stream Elements plugins. I have my Go XLR mixer right here that I do everything with, and then I have I do all of that stuff live on the fly.
Definitely sold himself short.
Yes, he did. He absolutely did. But that just goes to show, he jokes about having a really big ego, but he also doesn't give himself enough credit for the things he really does do.
Meanwhile, I'm over here forgetting that I turned my overhead light off and getting really dark.
Well, I'm not the producer. I'm not the producer of this show, but if you have to change your lighting, I'll let you.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
My producer wasn't here to let me know that the camera was getting so dark. I'm sitting here paying attention to you guys and just loving every minute of it, not realizing I look down and I'm like, oh no, and I'm trying to fiddle with the curtain while you guys are talking. I'm like, oh god. I'll be right back.
It's all good. All right, everybody. Booties in chat. Oh, that's not our stream. It's not our stream.
No, we're not live on our show right now.
That's right.
Okay,
say nice things.
Yeah,
nice things.
Yeah.
Say nice things about ourselves.
When we do our stream live and one of the hosts walk away, we ask chat to say nice things about the person who walked away,
and throw booties in
chat. To throw booty emotes in the chat. So when you walked away, we said it's not our show, but we said throw booties in the chat and say nice things. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You were talking earlier about how Courtney kind of saved you while you were streaming because you had somebody in your chat that was engaging and making the stream more lively. And I streamed for a little while, kind of at the beginning of the year, and as much as I enjoyed streaming, if I didn't have people in the chat to interact with, it definitely felt strange because it was like, why am I not just playing this game by myself?
Yeah.
Under my own time, if there's no one here to actually interact with and talk to while I'm doing it.
I mean, I have thoughts on that if you want to delve into it.
Oh, absolutely.
Streaming is fucking weird. Streamers are strange people. And you have to be willing to be an entertainer at all times if you want to get into streaming. And that's ultimately what it is. If people are out there thinking I can just jump on right now and people are going to watch me for the way that I play this game, it's not going to work that way.
No, not at all.
A lot of the times people don't care about the game that you're playing. It's the entertainer that they're watching. It's why Kind of Funny had such a huge outcry of more gaming. Everybody wanted them to play more games. Had nothing to do about the games that they were playing. It's because they wanted to see, Snowbike Mike and Andy interact with each other while they play video games, just as an example. That's what they want, And if you are a personality and you are somebody who is lively or chill or a rager or endearing, it doesn't matter where you are, people are going to come there for that mood. And that's what streaming is. Streaming is entertainment, and that's ultimately what you have to sell, and you have to be willing to talk to nobody. And
that's you brought up Andy Cortez, and I watched his Elden Ring video recently.
Yeah.
And to think that he did that entire video by himself in a room without an audience is insane to me, because I honestly wouldn't have thought that until he said it at some point. And when he first started, I was like, wait, he didn't get to stream this. How is he? Who is he talking to? And then there was a moment where he was like, this would be so much easier with an audience or something like that. And I was like, oh man, he's doing all of this just by himself in a room, not talking to anybody except, to the people that he will be talking to when it goes live on YouTube. Yeah. And I just thought that was an amazing kind of thing to watch and understand. And absolutely, I agree. It's so interesting to get into that mentality of, kind of doing what you're doing for the sake of the idea that someone might be watching or
Mhm.
is going to watch that content.
Yep.
And yeah, it's such an interesting thing.
Mhm.
Well,
But
you've interviewed Andy.
yeah,
That guy's a character, man.
yeah,
And
he's incredible.
and you can tell the reason why he was so good at it is because he loves telling stories. He has punchlines ready. And you don't even know that he's telling a joke yet. And he I think that he deserves a lot of credit. He's a fantastic streamer. I mean, his numbers are in the thousands when he goes live, and he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. He's a fantastic streamer, and he's a great entertainer. And he addresses chat, and the way that he speaks to chat, it's as if he cares that they're there, but he's very nonchalant about the fact that they're there. There's a nuance to the way that Andy Cortez streams, and I really appreciate him as an entertainer. And I don't know if he gets the credit that he deserves. I think that he on Twitch he gets a lot of recognition, and I mean he was in Times Square for a reason. You know what I mean? He had billboards in Times Square for a reason. So
Yeah,
um,
I definitely think that he has Twitch was his way of finding himself
yeah,
for sure. I think
absolutely.
there were things that he enjoyed doing it kind of, or enjoys doing it kind of funny. But you could tell that like there were certain shows where he maybe didn't want to talk because he felt like he wasn't, you know, in the right space. And
Sure.
since being on Twitch and him kind of like finding himself, I don't. It's so funny. We're supposed to be talking about you guys. We're talking about Andy.
But I'm a big fan of Andy, so it's
Yeah.
like it's okay with me, you know. In
But
case
yeah,
you're watching, Andy.
yeah, he's definitely not. But yeah, it's one of those things where I really felt like he came into his own when he started streaming and finding himself there, and seeing him on content now versus before he started streaming is such a different beast, because now he is playing those things that everyone's playing and he feels more confident in talking about them, and it's just such a cool thing to see people grow as entertainers and as people as they find what they want to do. You guys were talking earlier about just kind of like making the decision that this is what you wanted to do, that this is the thing that you guys wanted to make happen. And I absolutely believe with dedication, more people are going to notice you and love that energy and really get into Talk Limited for sure.
Thank you. That means a lot.
That means a lot to us, because there are those doubts. There's always those doubts. It's like, what are we doing and why are we doing it? You know, and as long as you know that why, you're always gonna, get back on that horse, and continue streaming, because everybody streams from horses. I think that's how it works nowadays. But
Yeah, or if you're John, you crash into them with me.
there's a Red Dead Redemption
Callback right
reference.
there.
Yeah.
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 For those of
You
you
guys-
who don't know, John crashed into me with a horse on stream.
If you're going to be playing Elden Ring, you'll be able to crash on horses in that game apparently too.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So here's the thing: while we are on Twitch, we don't do any gaming content on Twitch. It's not by choice. It's because we just dedicate so much time to talk shows that we forget to do the gaming. So another shameless plug: if you guys look up TVLK Plays on YouTube, all of our pre-recorded gaming stuff will end up on YouTube together. So it's just us with no audience talking to each other. And it's getting there. Right now we're playing Little Nightmares again. The whole collaboration thing, we depend on our editors, we depend on this kind of stuff. So it's kind of a trickle release, but it's fun, and we're playing video games, which is how we met, and eventually the goal is to do this full time and actually be able to play video games live on Twitch and that sort of stuff. But for now, we're sticking with our interview shows and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said that it's fun. I would like to disagree. I am not a fan of Little Nightmares. I'm not a fan of scary games in general. But
do you not like scary games?
I do not. And then one of the most infamous things is that John discovered that I am a big scaredy cat. So one of the very first few things that we started doing, because I met John in September of 2020, and Halloween came around, and then that's kind of where he got really into the scary stuff, and we played Phasmophobia together. And John learned really quickly. John learned really quickly that I cry and scream.
She cries and goes silent, and this is before we figured out how to have OBS capturing image. and that so I couldn't see her, she couldn't see me. Our cameras were just solely for the audience only. So she would get completely quiet and I would have no idea what's happening. Not at all.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she's on stream like this.
I'm literally having a mental breakdown.
To be fair, Phasmophobia is terrifying.
Thank you.
I'm a
Thank you.
huge fan of scary games. Like I've been playing, Silent Hill and Resident Evil for far too long. Like I was way too young when I started playing those games. And dude, Phasmophobia is like another level of terrifying.
Yeah.
It was not okay. I was not okay. I was crying, and Jon is over there laughing at me.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Laughing at my pain. I'm literally having an anxiety breakdown on stream, crying my eyes out.
Like Schadenfreude at its like freaking peak.
Exactly. And I'm miserable. But you know what? The one thing that Jon has helped me understand, and when I say help me understand, forces me to understand, is that my pain and my fear is content.
It's content. I think that people like genuine reactions, and it's okay to be afraid. Just know that you're putting on a show,
Yes.
So
I'll tell you right now, we jokingly did the Batman trailer reaction on the Simply Sassy channel. Just like we were talking to Timur. Timur's interview got over, and it was to the DC fandom, and we were like, oh hey, why don't we just watch the Batman trailer? Because at some point during the interview, Timur tweeted that was an amazing trailer, and somehow he was watching that trailer while talking to us and seamlessly made it like non-existent until one of us saw the tweet and we were like, hey,
how
what
did
trailer?
you do that?
So he said, oh, it was the Batman. And we're like, you know what, why don't, after the interview and everything, we were like, well, why don't we go react to that just for fun? And we ended up reacting to it and putting that up, and I feel like it's like maybe our 12th most viewed video.
Oh wow.
And so it definitely shows people love reaction videos. And we were talking to MC Fixer from the Kind of Funny community, and reaction videos are one of his kind of core things on his YouTube channel. And he was talking about, like, if you really want to make it on YouTube, short form reactionary content is really popular. The only problem is you have to be there like that day, and even if you want to really get there, you have to be there as soon as it pops. And yeah, it was just such an interesting deep dive into reactionary content, and there's definitely something to that. I mentioned Schadenfreude earlier, which is kind of enjoyment at the misfortune of others. And that's kind of, I feel like there's a lot of that, especially when you're talking about people playing scary games and getting frightened and stuff like that. It's very interesting. The internet's a weird place.
It really
I love it. That's why we belong there.
Yes. That's why we fit in so well.
Absolutely.
So we have another question that comes in from AWSMUNC. Awesome Unk, I believe is what that is.
Yes.
And then
what's up, Unk?
A Unk of 5. Uncle of 5?
That's him.
Let's dissect this entire Twitter handle here. Now, I don't want to stroke your ego, Jon, but this question says, how did Courtney get such a magnificent co-host for her talk? I like how it's her talk limited channel. I love you both. Now, I believe this question is about Christian.
Oh, well, she's never worked with him, so.
Oh, damn it!
Oh yeah, nope.
I told you I've never seen him on content, so I have no idea.
Yeah, he's lucky he's still even a host. I threaten to fire him every day.
Wait, what?
So
how did Courtney get me?
How did Courtney get such an amazing co-host?
She taught me Hawaiian, I guess.
For talk. I know. Yeah, we kind of went over it a little earlier, but I had to ask it because
it's silly. It is silly. I don't know. I can't. I could give an answer, but that would be for the Friday show. Realistically, in all seriousness, I think ultimately it comes down to chemistry, right? And I will say this: if you are out there, you're looking to collaborate with fantastic people because you yourself have great ideas, make sure that the chemistry works. I think that's probably one of the reasons why it took me so long to even start content creation, is because I knew that if I were to do this, I needed to do it right, and I needed to have somebody in my corner that understood me. And having a female co-host was not part of the plan, but it worked out that way. And it could work like that with anybody. If you have a better rapport with men, then make sure that they bounce off of you very, very well.
And maybe not make comments about how you don't want to do content with female content creators because of other reasons,
Yeah.
Not you. I'm thinking of Ninja right now just because.
See. So what's interesting though is while I do make content and I do consider myself a content creator, of course, with Talk Limited and everything, I don't know shit about what's happening in the content creative sphere. Is that unusual? Do you think? Like
No.
I couldn't tell you who's popular right now. You know what I mean?
Streamer wise, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. When Tim the Tip Tap Tap Man left, I said, who? And I don't feel bad about it, but I feel very out of the loop because I'm so focused on what I'm doing,
Yep.
that it's like, but these are folks that people look up to, people
Sure.
look up to Ninja, people look up to Tip Tam.
Well, and that's why it's so important to like. I don't know what the reason is. This is probably a year or two ago now that he said this, but it's just resonated with me for so long because like you can have a fucking relationship with someone of the opposite sex and not have it interfere with your marriage. Like
true. That is absolutely true. As long as that isn't the intent. No, but that's a bad joke.
Oh,
I thought it was a pretty good joke, personally.
No, and that's entirely the point. Is that the content creators come from all different walks of life, and you just have to be willing to bounce ideas, get prepared to get shut down, get told that your ideas are great, but they need to be polished. Be prepared for feedback and that sort of stuff. And I think that's why Courtney and I work so well together because she doesn't shoot down any of my ideas, and she tells me how brilliant I am all the time.
I don't know what he's hearing when we have these discussions, but no, but in all seriousness, Jon is very, very passionate. And for me, I'm never the type of person who will say no right at the gate. I'm the kind of person where if you come to me with an idea, my first response is, okay, how do we make that work? That's, I think, what has been most successful for us is with, Jon will have these great ideas. He's the kind of person, he'll have the great idea, but not know how to implement it. I'm the kind of person where sometimes I have ideas, but for me, I'm more of the person who will help execute. I'm the executor. Executor, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
We'll say executor and make it a Pokemon
Executor,
reference.
It's a
perfect.
Pokemon thing. Yeah.
Yes, I'm a big Alolan palm tree.
Oh, I didn't even think about the Alolan version.
I'm Hawaiian. Come on.
Oh, that's funny.
But that's the way the dynamic works is when Jon has an idea but doesn't know how to make it work, I'm the person who will sit there and figure out how to make it happen. Same thing with with his interview show. I will toot my own horn and take credit for the fact that I named his interview show. I helped him finesse it a little bit better and help kind of with the structure and how to make it what it is today. But that is all him. How it works is him. I just helped make it. I helped refine it. And that's how the dynamic works with a lot of our shows is Jon will come to me with an idea, say, hey, what if we did this? And I say, okay, how do we make it happen? How about if it looks this way? How about if we do it this way? And that's the real way it works. And I think that's what makes our dynamic and our brand so strong is that we have the two of each other to balance it out and to push and make it successful. And because we're both so fucking stubborn, neither of us know how to say no or accept no as an answer or accept.
We'll figure out a way.
Yeah, it's always that's the joke, right? We'll figure it out as a love language. That is literally how we make Talk Limited work.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
So going to a different side, this is the first time I think someone has brought up the fact that they created an LLC. Obviously, it got brought up during a kind of funny one. I think it was with Nick. They brought up the fact that their company name isn't actually kind of funny. It's
what is it?
Tickly Monster.
That's great.
Yeah. I think I brought it up because I got a check from them from when I did the Predator. There was the kind of funny hunting grounds stuff for them.
Nice.
That they ended up doing stuff for. So they sent me money for that, and I got the check, and I'm like, question mark?
Can I cash this? Is this real?
Yeah.
Tickly Monster. What did I sign up for?
I had to bring that up on the show.
Yeah. Well, because they did it because they wanted the most ridiculous name, they said, right?
Yeah, because they were a young company, and it's. I mean, to be fair, we're Simply Sassy. We can't say anything.
How did that name come about?
Oh man. So basically, we had a bunch of different names. There was one where we were like the Tribesmen, because Al, the Predator Tribesman, was one of our Tribesmen, one of the people that really got gelled the group together. So the Tribesman was kind of like the thing, but I don't know why we didn't pick that one. There were a couple other ones. Out of Our League was actually, I think, one that we had put up there as one of them, which was great because it ended up becoming one of the show names and stuff like that. But we were joking about names that were like kind of funny, that were like that. And there was this joke going around about like Phill sass, because I'm apparently very sassy.
I love it.
And so there was this idea of Phill sass. Oh, you're giving that Phill sass right now. And so I was like, what about Simply Sassy? Kind of funny, Simply Sassy. Like, it was just kind of a play on that.
I love that.
It ended up winning the poll, and for some godforsaken reason, we rolled with it. And none of us thought about the fact that our initials were SS.
Oh.
And
well,
the rest is history.
Well, you know what though? I will say it plays and it works for us because Jon is a very big fan of alliteration.
Yeah,
I am.
Me too, and that's kind of where it came from. For me, was I also like alliteration quite a bit. Like, I think where I figured this out was the Dexter books, Darkly Dreaming Dexter and stuff like that. Like, a bunch of the author's original books were alliterations like that. And I think that's where I kind of was like, you know what? I love this. This is great. And
the reason why I like alliteration is because one of my favorite rappers, Tech9, he will mix up his flows, and one of the most popular things he does is alliteration for a long period of time in his songs. So I think that's where that stems from.
V for Vendetta was another one that really got me. There's that whole like monologue he does with just using V words. Pretty great in V for Vendetta. But that's okay. And not to bring up Isaiah's interview again, but that's the second time that we've had crossover, because we also mentioned Tech9 in that.
No shit, really?
In that interview.
That's awesome.
Tech9's my favorite rapper. I don't want to. No spoilers. I guess I'll have to watch what you guys say about Tech9.
We didn't go into it like super hard. It was mainly because The Rock had that little bit in a song recently.
Yes.
And for some reason we were talking about that. We really didn't get to talk about Tech9 too much. It's just super funny that it got brought up twice.
Again.
And I mean, I'm from California. Tech9 has been a staple in California for as long as I can remember. So yeah, I definitely feel that.
Which surprises me, because I think of him as such an underground artist that I forget, how much of a push he's had in California even. So
yeah,
when people know who he is, I'm like, holy shit, because when I was in high school, nobody knew who he was, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, but when were you in high school?
I don't want to talk about that. 2002 is when I discovered him, I think.
Okay.
2002, yeah.
So at that time, yeah, I mean, definitely, he was still fresh face, but I think now he's pretty established in the rap world for sure.
Oh yes,
number one independent rapper in the world, so I guess he's doing all right for himself.
All right. Just all right.
Yeah, there's another person I look up to. It's those independent people, right? Kind of Funny is independent. Tech9 is independent. The Game Grumps, very much independent. Those are the types that I really, really look up to, is the people who have an idea and they just do it themselves, you know?
Can we say that Kind of Funny is independent, considering they're part of the Rooster Teeth network?
Well, their LLC is fucking Tickly Monsters.
Tickly Monster.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, they seem independent. They don't answer to anybody but themselves.
Right. Yeah. No. Definitely.
Yeah. So.
That was just a random thought that entered my brain, and much like Courtney, I don't have much of a filter, so whatever I think about, just kind of.
Nope. I am a random thought.
Yeah, you are.
Mhm.
That I met on the internet, and we formed an LLC together with.
Oh no. For reference, that's THOT. For the joke.
Mhm.
For those who that just completely flew
Yeah,
over.
just went over their head. and then please, if you don't know what THOT means, please Google it.
Yeah,
Be careful though. Make sure safe search is on.
it means Courtney.
Sure. Or don't.
It means Courtney. Thanks,
Yeah.
John.
Wow.
And then
He's not wrong.
No, and then at it's Courtney 808 with the definition, please.
My Twitter's about to be. Well, I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, you already know what's there.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, to be honest, if you follow me on Twitter, that is how I got John to be my co-host. Anyway.
So we have a question from I love his name right now. Ho Hoodie.
Okay.
Erica's timeline twin at the Penny Marvels. And I'm just gonna ask this individually. Courtney,
Yes.
how are you? Like just a deep how are you? Not like a surface level how are you, like we did at the beginning of the show, but how are you?
Well, I mean, I'm constantly living through existential dread, but other than that, I'm fantastic. No, I'm good. I always joke. Everyone's always asking, like, because I don't sleep. So I'm a mom. I work a full-time job. I actually own my own company. Like John touched a little bit upon it. I am actually originally a sports and entertainment media photographer and videographer by trade. And so I have that company for myself. And then, of course, we have Talk Limited. So I don't sleep. I'm constantly in the middle of something or other. So other than that, I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Mm-hmm.
And then John, how are you?
I'm good. I sleep a lot. I I get a lot of sleep. I'm good. Thanks for asking. I can't complain. I'm a little hungry. I might eat after this, but yeah.
I feel you. I ate around 11 and it's now 3, so
So time to eat.
Time to eat.
Kind of hungry.
Yeah. Good question.
And then I like these comments here from these unknown people. It's Courtnicopia of Talk Limited.
Never heard of them.
At it's Courtney 808, who just says, "So excited and honored to be on the show." That's
so sweet.
I don't know if you knew we read all of these.
No, not at all.
I'm sorry. I'm not used to that because I have a co-host that can't read.
Wow. Christian's not here to defend himself. Why would?
I thought you didn't film together.
No, she doesn't. She does not film with him. It's not that I can't read. It's just that I refuse to. I don't. Societal norms or whatever.
And then we have John's Giving. I like how both of your names kind of go with the Thanksgiving theme.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's Thanksgiving month. You should have seen. We try to stay festive. So for Halloween, we had Halloween themed names.
I did as well. Mine was Philip My Candy Bowl.
I did remember that. I really liked.
It's great.
I remember that.
It's so good.
I remember that one.
Candy bone. Oh my god.
I really enjoyed that one.
My wife really enjoyed that one too.
I bet she did.
What was mine? Mine was just John Boo.
Bones.
Oh, John Bones. Last year it was
Nice.
John
Yeah.
Boo. Yeah.
And John's Giving of Talk Limited at It's Me John B says, "This is an absolute honor." And Did the I don't really the clap, is that the clap? Like what is that?
Is that the clap?
They're like doing this,
Oh,
right?
this is the prayer, but it's like this one where it's like got the thing in
this.
between. Like I
I'm
don't know.
praising the fucking sun, dude. I'm just like, holy shit, I can't believe I made it, dude.
Praise the sun.
I'm in
Praise
this.
the sun.
I'm in the same chair as Johnny Ace right now, dude. If you think about it, you know what I mean. I mean, he was a little bit to the other side, but you know, I thought it was really cool that you guys even gave us the time of day. Like I said, I said, yeah, I thought that was really cool. I sent out a DM. And I was like, you know, maybe these guys will interview us because we interview tons of people. And one thing that we want to do is we want to do more interviews. We want people to. So you guys are doing us a really huge favor by doing this. You know, we get to put our brand out there where we spend most of our time putting everybody else's brand out there. You know, so we're extremely honored, and to even be on the same. To even have a thumbnail with, you know, the people that we look up to and all the fantastic people that you've interviewed. I am extremely honored. So
Absolutely.
Well,
yeah.
I would like to use this chance to plug. We have a tweet out right now that says, "Hey everyone, there are a lot of amazing people in the communities and companies, or for companies like Giant Bomb, Kind of Funny Vids, What's Good Games, and others. But who should we try? Who should we be trying to get for interviews that maybe like need highlighting or lifting up? Who do you want to see on the show that maybe doesn't have a spotlight like some of the bigger people that we've interviewed?" And that's kind of what we're going for. Like I talk about him all the time, but Khalif Adams from Spawn on Me is a huge inspiration to me. And he's always out there lifting, you know, people of color and different voices in the industry that maybe need more attention or don't get enough attention. And that's one of the major things that inspired me to get out there and really reach out to a bunch of different people, because there are so many people out there with amazing voices that just aren't being heard. And like I said earlier, like I really enjoy your guys' sex positivity, and I enjoy that that show that you guys have, and I wanted to bring a larger spotlight to that, even though, you know, our average video gets probably 50 views. Um, you know, it's still something that I wanted to do, because hopefully someday we'll get that one interview that people go, "Oh damn, what's this?" and they check out some of our other stuff, and then they discover these other smaller, you know, Twitch people, YouTube people that are out here doing amazing things. So yeah, absolutely, you guys are part of that, and definitely out of our league. I mean,
well, we don't feel that way. And in fact, you know, I want to repeat that if there's ever a time that you guys have where, you know, the planets align and you can come on our show, we'd be more than happy to have you on an interview show or a the game show that Just Trust Me, Talk Trivia, or whatever you're all capable of doing. That would be fantastic to collaborate with you all.
Yes, we'd love that. And
Absolutely.
we always talk about, like, when we do our opening, if you're even just tell one person that you like what we do, and that person really likes what we do, and they tell one person, the next thing you know, that's 50 voices, right? You just talked about 50 viewers, and that's 50 opportunities for us to make another difference. For us, you know, we're very lucky that we are finding and building a community that accepts us for who we are in our entirety, because we know we're a lot. But for us, we're very proud of being a lot, and we just want to keep growing and finding like-minded people and having these conversations that some people are too afraid to have or are unable to have, and we want to have them in the right way that's safe, sane, and consensual. That's our biggest goal with Let's Talk, is having a community and a place where you can be safe, sane, and consensual and talk about things that most people don't have the opportunity to talk about. Kinks, fetishes, the lifestyle, sexual positivity, body positivity, gender identity, sexual orientation, all of that. And so for us, we're very thankful that you've given us a platform to discuss that, because for us, we want to keep making new friends and we want to keep getting, you know, our message out there, but we also want to just have people feel like they have another place that they can go to have that safe space, to have that conversation, or to belong, or if we're entertaining just one more person and that one more person tells another person that we're entertaining and listening to our bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
then that in and of itself has paid for everything.
Yeah, Courtney said it best.
Oh my
For
god,
sure.
can we clip that? He just said I
No.
said it best. Oh my god. Can we
I'll use
save
that.
it?
I'll use that as the breakout for the video.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I wish I knew what time code we had, but the recording is on the silent end of Gauge, so I have no idea what time we're at. But I'll make sure to find that and clip that out for the breakout for the Simply Sassy post.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Now to get into a little bit more serious stuff. I mean, not serious, but back on the subject of you guys.
Sure.
So if there was something sex positive, and I'll direct this again at both of you. This time we'll go Jon first.
Okay.
If there was something sex positive that you could put out there that you feel like not enough people are know or should know, what would it be?
Is that your sexuality does not need to be labeled. And I think that that's one of those things where we kind of come to terms with on multiple of our shows, is that we have folks who come in who say, I don't know what I am. You know, I don't know if I'm gay or if I'm straight or if I'm pan or if I'm bi. And I think that we are so always looking for labels. And when it comes to your sexuality, I don't think you need one. I think you should be happy with whatever it is you feel, as long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're not hurting yourself. You know, I've recently discovered that fluidity is a thing, and it's one of those things where if I'm going to associate as fluid, it doesn't matter what anybody else sees me as. You know, as long as I'm okay with who I am, and I think that's the message that I think a lot of people our age need to know, because we grew up in a time where if something was bad, it was referred to as gay, and if you were gay, then it was bad. You know, and
I hate to interrupt what you're saying right now, but that hit home for me for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the next thing I'm gonna say is a little triggering. But when I was in high school, one of my people that I considered a friend would say the term like if I said I didn't want to come over, he'd be like, "Oh, bro, why are you fagging out?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, oof. I hated it then. I hate it way more now.
Different times, yeah. It's very odd.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people who watch us are either younger or from the same era as us, and they still have those kind of memories of how terrible it is to use somebody's sexuality as an insult.
Yep.
But ultimately, what I think I've kind of come to terms with is that I've spent my entire adolescence and somewhat adult life being so concerned about what to label myself that I just forget that it doesn't matter, you know. And as long as I'm good to people and I am, you know, not hurting anybody or whatever it is, that I think that the labels just don't matter. Now there are people out there who are going to tell you, no, I need to be labeled, and I love my label, and that's perfectly okay too. But I think it's okay if you're out there and you think that you don't need a label. That's fine too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very much of the mindset of like I am someone who falls in love with the person, you know.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter who, what, where, whatever. Like I fall in love with that person. And
Same.
yeah.
Yep. And that could be a pan romantic, where you don't see sexual orientation or sexuality or gender, I should say. Thank you.
Yes.
Rather, it's the romantic comes from whoever the individual is, right?
Yep.
Pan meaning all encompassing, right?
Yep.
So.
Yep, that's me. I am pan romantic and pansexual.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you are, what you are. If I'm into you, I'm into you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're consenting, I'm consenting. It's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. We are very open and loving people. We've talked about all sorts of discussions, you know, and we're not ashamed of our feelings, and I think that that's ultimately what it comes down to. And the people that we talk to understand that we have our boundaries. So while we will say things like what Courtney just said, we are not We're not crossing any lines. Everything has to do with consent, and and it has to be explicit verbal consent.
Yes, and consent can change. So just
Yes.
because I say yes at first, I have the entire freedom to change my mind and say no at any point in time. And anyone,
And as do you. Yes, exactly right.
everyone has the freedom. So just because you say yes to at the start, if your mind changes, you are entitled to change your mind. You are free to change your mind, and you are free to still say no.
Exactly.
So yeah, so for me to answer, I guess the one thing I would like to point out is, you know, we grew up in an era where it was so difficult to have these conversations, right? Sex was so secretive, and you couldn't have the conversation, and it was naughty to talk about it, and it wasn't okay. And I think that's what made so much of growing up and trying to find sexuality or finding your place sexually so difficult, because we couldn't have that conversation. And I think it would save so much of us time and energy if we could have had the conversation openly. There's a way to have the conversation respectfully. There's a way to have it without it being uncomfortable, or a way to have it without being offensive. And I think for me, like John said, labels are only important to you if they are important to you, but they are not necessary, right? And I feel that way with not just labels, but with love in general. Everybody is so afraid to have labels for how they love, what they love, who they love. And I would love to see a world in which there is no necessity for that, whether it be a relationship between a man and a woman, trans men, trans women, any kind of relationship, open relationships, open marriages, open uh different relationship dynamics. I would love a world in which, as long as your love is functional and safe, sane, and consensual for you and your partner or partners, that should be all that matters. I would love for there to be a world where there is no stigma when it comes to love or sex, even. Even if it's sex without love. I would love a world where you can have that opportunity and that conversation, as long as, like I said, as long as you're being safe, as long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting anybody. I would love for that to be the reality of the world, where anybody, regardless of what your relationship looks like, that it's able to have that conversation without any kind of negative stigma or negative connotation. I think
basically we want everybody to mind their own damn business.
Yeah, or if you're not minding your business,
yeah,
I would love the freedom to be able to have that open conversation with, regardless of what kind of relationship that I'm in. If I'm in an open polyamorous relationship, I would love to be able to have that conversation as candidly as you would talk about having a baby
monogamous
shower,
relationship,
or
yeah.
a monogamous relationship.
Yeah.
Having a gender reveal party. I would love to be able to say, hey, I'm having a gender orientation reveal party. Or even just being able to talk about, go to breakfast. Hi, this is my husband and this is his girlfriend. Hi, this is my wife and this is her boyfriend. And be able to have these conversations openly, because if it's not affecting you personally, if it's not hurting you, then, and it's not hurting me, then it should be not a problem, and
Why
shouldn't
does it
have
matter?
exactly. It shouldn't have the clutch of my pearls. No.
And there's we just unloaded a lot. These are the things that we talk about in our show, and I feel like
yes,
Courtney's moving a mile a minute because there's just so much that we really do discuss. These are multiple episodic topics that we've had at one point in time. So but yeah, it's a wow.
I just want love to be love, and people to be able to have the conversation and be proud and happy about it, as you would like being able to tell your parents, I have a new boyfriend or a new girlfriend. I want everybody to be able to have that conversation regardless of the relationship dynamic.
Oh man, the idea of living in a world where you don't have to tell your parent or guardian that you are X label, because you're afraid to let them know about, a partner that you're experimenting with as a, young adult or whatever. Like, that's such a foreign concept to us as people.
Right?
But man, does that sound
But how else
amazing.
how else would you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How else would you know if you don't?
But that's why it would be nice to have it be a normal construct instead of a outlandish fantasy concept.
It makes me think of that recently, Superman, not Clark Kent, but his son, you know, they recently is experimenting with his sexuality
Yes.
and specifically experimenting with his sexuality. There's no sexual label attached to him.
Yeah.
But he currently is dating a male in
Mhm.
the storyline, or was at
Yeah.
this time. I haven't kept up with the issues that have come out since then.
Hmm.
But it was very interesting to watch that conversation transpire because a lot of people were talking about, oh, older comics never did this. Why are they putting the relationship trying to make their like project their feelings onto what was
Yep.
happening into this comic book that literally they don't have to read if they don't want to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And act like it's some outlandish, not normal thing. And yet, when you look back at older comic books, comic book characters always had that love interest, always. And it was never in a background scenario.
Mhm.
And I was watching something that was talking about how they came up with these characters and how the relationship was always like a secondary kind of non-consequential character, but was always there to be, you know, to serve a purpose of
Yeah.
being the counterpart to that character or whatever. And anyway, it was just it's so strange to me that people try and justify the way that they're feeling
Mhm.
because of something they don't necessarily agree with
Or understand.
or
Yeah.
understand. And I would love to open that comic and like I will shout from the rooftops like fuck yeah, fucking yes, make Superman gay, make Superman bi, make Superman whatever, make
Yeah.
him love who he wants to love. I don't care. I would much rather that just be the normal thing. You open that comic book, okay, cool. He's now with John. You know, sorry, John. It's
Oh,
that's the
lucky.
I know,
first name,
lucky
the
me.
Lucky
first
you.
name I
Yes,
could think of off
Superman.
the top of my head because
I
of,
don't
you
know
know.
what the new Superman looks like, but I'll take it.
Pretty
Whatever.
pretty
Oh,
good
he's
looking.
fucking
He's
hot.
he's very good looking.
I'm not
Okay,
gonna lie, his
I'll take it
boyfriend's
then.
way hotter, but
I mean, facts. Yeah, I agree.
uh, but
Fair.
anyway, yeah, I would love to be able to open that and then just have like that. Just oh, that's the new person he's
Right.
with at the moment, and not have it be a headline, but it needs to be a headline now because it's
For
not
now.
the norm.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
yeah, so anyway,
I'm
Yeah.
no, I agree. But that's why I'm glad there are people who are willing to push the envelope. Granted, it should, like you said, it shouldn't be a thing where it's pushing the envelope. It should be
right,
something that's so common that it's not even blinked at. But the fact that people are taking the stand and pushing the envelope and making it so that the more it's put in our face, hopefully the more people become accustomed to this is normal. This is okay. This
yeah,
is not shock and awe. This is life. Because there are people living it every day. And a lot of times, you know, life imitates art and vice versa. So hopefully this will help to continue to reshape the way people think and reshape the way the world is. Because it's not new.
No,
L-
it's not
love
new.
like love like this is not new. It's been like this for since the dawn of time. And
Yeah.
people just need to get off.
Mo- modern man have made it what it is today.